Okay, cool. Boom. All right. So we got Raleigh covered. We got Durham covered. We got Garner covered. Who wants to go out to the Highlands? All the way from Asheville. Melanie's been working the unconference all afternoon. She's pitched sessions. She's been participating. So really excited to hear about web accessibility. So the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you so much. All right, my name is Melanie. I'm a web developer for the City of Asheville. This is an introduction to web accessibility. So it's really just the very low-hanging fruit that hopefully is familiar to a lot of you, but if it's not, let's make it familiar. So first, why? So, of course, because it's the right thing to do, and I hope that's enough for everyone here, but there's also the fact that these are really things that affect everybody. So say, you develop carpal tunnel syndrome, and now you need to navigate everything with the keyboard, right? You don't have access to the mouse, maybe. Or say you're coming back from an eye doctor appointment, and your eyes are all dilated, and all of the websites crash, and you have to read a lot of documentation very quickly, and you need to magnify the text, right? So it's not just for people with disabilities that are living with all the time. It's really, this benefits everyone. And lastly, because you're legally obligated to. So the Americans with Disabilities Act, right, we need to provide a comparable experience to everyone. If you're federally funded, you're affected by Section 508, you risk losing your federal funding. So really, I don't like to resort to the legal argument, but just do it, okay? All right, first kind of low-hanging fruit piece is just write good HTML. There are a lot of semantic elements in HTML. It's not just divs. There's a lot of great built-in functionality. So take advantage of that. Like, instead of making it a div that you add a bunch of behavior to, use the button element. And your browser will know what to do with the button element out of the box. And so you don't have to build all that in yourself. And that's just an example. There are a ton of different semantic HTML elements. And then correct header levels. Headers are not for style. They're for content organization. It's not just bolder text. Think of it more like the APA style guide you have to use when you're writing a paper or something. Navigation with the keyboard. So the one I want to pull out and highlight here really is visible keyboard focus. This is the one when I'm just kind of casually tabbing around, checking for accessibility. It seems like a lot of people don't know about this one. So when you're using the keyboard to navigate, right, you need to know what, you're pressing tab, you're going through the website, you need to know what thing you're focused on, so when you press enter, you're not like deleting your whole profile, right? You need to know what thing you're pressing enter on, what button you're clicking, what you're interacting with. And again, luckily the browser will do a lot of this out of the box. And so if you're using a button element or drop downs or whatever, your browser kind of handles that for you. So that's another good reason to write good HTML. But you also will want to make sure your hover and your focus behavior are the same. A lot of the times, designers will set outline none in their CSS because they're being, this website is, I didn't make it, but I found it. And someone feels as strongly about this as I do. And what it does is just mess up all the accessibility. So don't do it. Don't set outline none. So color. A lot of people are colorblind. There are a bunch of different types of colorblindness. The thing I want to highlight here is there's this really awesome Chrome extension that I use extensively, but there are also a lot of other things out there for this. But the one I use is called I Want to See Like the Colorblind. And it's cool because you can click on it and then it'll show you like a list of different types of colorblindness. And so you can go through and pick each type and say, okay, does my bar graph make sense to all of these different people who have all these different needs? And so you can also use other indicators like patterns or size instead of color. Label images, use alt text, and use text rather than an image of text. So if you're resizing things, if you're trying to make things bigger, the text will resize with it. The image will not necessarily. You also will have to, if you're using an image of text, you have to update the alt tag when you change it, which if you forget, then you're confusing people. And then try a screen reader. You know, the Mac has one built in, VoiceOver. You can use NVDA, and just check it out. See what that experience is like. Obviously, it's not the same experience for you if you're sighted, but just try, see what a screen reader is like. So there are a lot of tools out there. The Axe Chrome extension is really good. It's the kind of an automatic audit tool. Firefox has some stuff built in. And think about doing usability testing, and then check out. There are a lot of great checklists, and I'm happy to share this with you if anyone would like these resources. So,
thank you.